What's going on YouTube? Today we're going to take a look at the 90-gallon reef tank. It has been a while since we've updated this tank and a lot has gone on. So today we're going to feed some omega-1 veggie kelp pellets, some omega brine shrimp, some omega-1 marine pellets, and some Japanese nori. The stock, if you've been following me for a while, you should recognize a couple of the fish. The purple tang, the Melanaris wrasse or Melanaris, and the mocha clownfish are all actually originals from the 90-gallon tank that I had way back. Let's see, what, 2 places now that I've lived? 3 places ago. So pretty much to say the purple tang and the clown and the wrasse are about, I think, 4 years old at this point. The squirrel fish in there and the orange clownfish are about 6 years old. What else do we have? Those guys are actually from my mother's tank. You guys have probably seen that in previous videos. I filled that in once when I cleaned up the tank in the past history of me doing videos, but it was in the kitchen in the original fish house, fish room. But now they're here. So some devastating things have gone on. The last video was pretty much Brooklinella. Everything was wiped out. Little micro parasite that ended up feeding on the slime coat on the fish, allowing for infection. Wiped out everything in 72 hours. Was real comfortable. I recommend checking out that video to be able to get the whole re-up. But then after that, I had signed up pretty much to say that I was going to have the rhinopius. We had replaced the rhinopius. I had some lionfish. The tank was looking really nice. Everything was going well again for the second time in a row. And then, of course, in July, we had the hottest day in Wisconsin. We were gone that week. The apartment spiked probably about 95. Well, it was a 100-degree day, so it probably spiked past 100 degrees in here, I imagine. The 90-gallon tank had a 500-watt heater, the 150 with a 300-watt heater, the 40-gallon tank with a 150-watt heater. But the 40-gallon tank, the Tesselata eel, or the Tesla eel, had knocked down his intake, so he had no air. So he pretty much suffocated and cooked in his tank. I walked in the door to see the 90-gallon heater was still running, even though the thermostat next to the 90-gallon was reading topped out at 95. So I know the tank was pretty warm. I walked up, checked the thermometer. It was about 107, 110. And all the fish in there was pretty much disintegrated or rotted completely. So the whole tank, yeah, I cooked everything. The 150-gallon, the 300-watt heater was also still ticking. So all my heaters I had to toss out after I came back, but I'd lost a couple Plecostomus, and I think one of my gars. So a couple of fish on 150 died off that day too. So it was just a bad day for heaters, a bad week to be gone, and it really set me back. So this setup is more or less rehomed fish or fish I've had previously, rather than trying to get into the whole venomous thing, which I will get back into later on when there's a house involved and things are more laid back and chill, and I don't have to worry about cooking my entire aquarium, which I guess I've never really thought of having to go wrong before. So been a very long series of unfortunate events, but it's a very nice display and a nice tank, and I do enjoy watching it. People do enjoy the tank in general, so I don't necessarily hate it. It's not bad. It's just not the dark side and light side aquarium I was originally looking for. So the Florida kind of act as an enemy. I only know it's from Florida because we had actually collected this one specifically. My girlfriend and I, we had taken the trip. We had taken a road trip down to the Keys, and it was one of the only purple Chynolactis anemones in the entire area around us. So that's the one we took back with us. You got the radiant urchin sitting there on the rock next to the tiger jawfish, of course, hiding out in his little corner. We'll get him later on. The radiant urchin, darkened in color. Generally, they show up into the shop pretty washed out, and after some time, they darken to a really nice blood red. So one of my favorite sea urchins to keep, and of course, I have 2 of them. The mandarin goby in here, you'll see him fluctuate in weight. He'll have a big old stomach, a skinny stomach. Depends on what I'm feeding that week for food. But I do have rotifers and cyclopses and some baby brine shrimp as well that he often feeds on and picks on in the tank. So the Royal Grama, real simple puzzle piece. At this point, I'm just kind of adding random little details. I really don't think I'm going to be adding a whole lot else, but Royal Gramas are generally a pretty laid-back fish to kind of fit into any kind of simple reef tank. Unless you have tiny, tiny shrimp, you're not going to worry about him eating anything. He is a basslet, so technically basslets, with the sound of bass being your bigger mouth fish, It will eat small fish, but everything in the tank is definitely larger in his mouth, and he's not going to mess with it, so that makes him the outsider. My zoanthid polyps in the top right corner, a little chewed on by some astrina stars, so I tossed those out of there as I've been seeing them come out. Some of them are okay, but some of them are definitely not. Otherwise, my palitho is taking over the rock, and my rescued frog spawn from someone else's tank they were taking down. I have some Xenia that's been slowly growing, multiplying. I mean, it doesn't really grow in polyp size, but I mean, I do have more polyps. And my cyanobacteria that's taking over my plastic decorations. The radiant urchin does eat all of my algae for the most part on the rocks, but as far as the decorations go, I just take those out about once a month and I scrub them off. But the tanks feed on them all week long, so it's not really a bad thing to have in the tank, I guess. But my radiant urchin, this is one of the newer ones, more washed out in color, like I said, when they first show up. Hopefully he'll be a nice blood red in the next few weeks, but he's definitely twice the size of the other one. And of course, even though I'm not doing the venomous tank, I couldn't go without having a simple lionfish in the tank. Only downside is he doesn't like to come out with the rest of the fish when they're feeding because he only eats live. So he has to be cupped and specifically fed away from the rest of the group of fish so he can get his proper meal. Otherwise, the squirrelfish would easily catch all the shrimp I feed him. But here's the tiger jawfish again, poking his head out from behind the rock there, trying not to get messed with. But that's pretty much the 90-gallon tank. That's the update. That's about everything going on at the aquarium. I do have something in the sump that we will touch on later on, but I do hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any kind of ideas or things you want to see specifically in this setup, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to try to do my own thing and cover a few different topics in general that I'd like to touch base on, rather than trying to feed or cover the entire stock of the aquariums every single time. So we'll see what that brings us in the future, I guess, as the days go on. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. As always, questions, comments, leave them down below or send me a message. And as always, I will see you all next time.